Well, we're entering the second half of the NFL season, regular season. The first game tomorrow is in Germany, and it's really a nothing burger for these two teams. The Giants, Panthers are not going anywhere, certainly not going to be in the playoffs. And it's going to come down to where they stand in the draft order coming next year. So it's really the Giants are 6.5, 40.5 at the game. I don't know how the Giants can be favored by a touchdown over anybody. Both these teams are terrible. And you might see a lot of coaching changes, quarterback changes, everything along with that. The next game is more interesting. The 49ers against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 49ers are 6.5, 50.5. CMC is probably going to be back for the Niners. Now, that's big. They haven't been healthy all year. He hasn't played all year, and it's certainly going to help their game, their ground game, and their passing game because it opens things up. We know who the better team is. Touchdown favorite on the road. Tampa's coming off the short week where they had the tough loss at Kansas City. The Niners want to get their rolling because they really haven't been playing that well. But like I said, they haven't been healthy. But the Buccaneers are not healthy either. Number one, number two wide receivers are both out. And they have other injuries as well. So I can see how you could really like the Niners here. I'm not going to lay 7 on the road or 6.5 on the road. But if I had to, that's what I would do. I give a lot of credit to the Buccaneers for playing as well as they are. Mayfield has played very well, but the injuries are catching up to them. Next game, Atlanta, the Saints. The Saints have been hurt. Atlanta's leading this division. This is a division game, so it is important. Atlanta's 4 and 46.5. You would think you might get the Saints to bounce back here. Carr is back at quarterback. Some other injured players are back as well. I'm not going to be laying 4 on the road in a division game in a spot like this. Easily, Atlanta could take them lightly because of their recent troubles. So, to me, it's a stay away game. However, there are people that are going to be jumping on the Saints taking 4. Denver at Kansas City, a division game. Obviously, we know who Kansas City is, 2-time going for a three-peat. They got Mahomes, who's got a little bit of an ankle problem. They won the overtime game against Tampa. Denver is playing well. They're coached well. The quarterback is growing, but he's no Mahomes. Kansas City 7.5. There's been bigger numbers on this. A lot of money has come in on Denver, taking 8, 8.5, 9. I favor the dog. I like the dog. I got it at a better number. 41.5 is the total. The tough game. Kansas City, one of these days is going to break out. I don't know that it's this week, but they are, we know, well coached. Andy Reid, Bags on defense, Mahomes, they got everything going for them. They easily could be in the Super Bowl again. But this would be a Denver Bronco must win if they want to have any chance to go anywhere this year and make the playoffs. It's possible. The dog is the right side. That's why the money has moved in that direction. Buffalo at the Colts is the next game. This is very interesting. Because of injuries and issues, right now there is not a line on this game. Buffalo is favored. They were favored, I should say. So I'm not going to say too much about this until we know a little bit more about the injuries and catch up. Right now, this moment, there is no line that I see at the very moment. But if I catch one, I will update this. I favor the Colts to bounce back, but you got to remember something. Richardson was benched last week, and Flacco did not play well. Matter of fact, he was horrible. Buffalo on the road, big game, but it's not a division game. So it's a more important game for the Colts to stay in the running to make the playoffs. We know the Bills are running away with the AFC East. So put that in your hat and smoke it for now. Steelers at the Commanders. The Commanders are 2.5, 44.5. You got to remember something here. Young team against an older veteran team. Tomlin, Washington's put it together. New owner, new coaches, new quarterback. Everything's going well. They've added some pieces. It looks like this is an up-and-coming team that, barring injuries this year and next, and even down the road from there, they're leading their division right there with Philadelphia. You can pretty well, I think, count Dallas out at this moment with the Dak injuries and the fact that he's not going to be there this week. They've got the issues, bad leadership, bad ownership at this point. The Steelers are tough. They're going to play tough. This is one of the tougher games Commanders have faced. They have not faced a defense like the Steelers will put up in this game. This is this is going up in class for the Commanders for sure. It's a tough spot for them. Steelers have taken some money, but there's a lot of love for the Commanders, the way they've been playing. A lot of love for Daniels, the Commanders, the coaching, everything. Next game, the Vikings at the Jaguars. The Jaguars are in real trouble. The Vikings 7, 43.5. Jags who probably should fire their coach. Maybe they'll wait till the end of the year to do it. Also, their quarterback has been hurt, and Lawrence is probably not going to play in this game. So the Vikings are the side if you want to swallow the 7 points and lay it on the road. But you might actually look at the under in this game, because if you're not going to get many points out of the Jags, the Vikings aren't the type of team they're going to light it up too often. The Patriots at the Bears. Next, this is an interesting game. The Bears got some internal problems. We know they got the first-round draft choice, all that stuff. But the Patriots, they come to play every week. They're not very good. The Bears, better on defense, but there's not much to say that's positive about this. 38.5 tells you a lot. That means this is a low total with a 6-point favorite with the Bears. I think the line is too high, and I'd probably look to the under in this spot. Then you have Tennessee going to the Chargers. Now, Harbaugh is a hell of a coach. Tennessee's a mess. They have not lived up to expectations. Chargers play tough defense. They don't give up much. And they got a good quarterback. They got a good head coach. And they're starting to score a little bit more, but they're very conservative. They generally will not blow you out. They're going to hold you down and then just run out the clock. That's the type of style that they play. So you have to keep that in mind when you look at this. The Chargers, 7.5, 38.5. Same total as we had in the previous game with the Patriots and Bears. So, and it's telling you, it's tough to lay big numbers like this when you have low totals, unless you think the one team is really going to get shut down. And it's easy to see the Chargers could shut down the Titans a lot. So you get a 23-10 game, something like that, but not the type of game where I'm going to lay the favorite for sure, because there's not enough room for separation in my mind. Eagles at the Cowboys. Now here you got Dak is out for the rest of the year, so they're going with a backup. They have injuries on defense. This is a mess of a year. Jerry Jones has done a very bad job putting this team together for this year. Very bad. He said he was all in. I don't know where he went all in. Looked like he's all out. But it's Jerry's team. He owns it. He has money. Does what he wants to do, says what he wants to say. I'm not a big fan. But, yeah, Eagles, 7.5 on the road, 43.5. I think if I could get a square 7 maybe, but not 7.5, I'm not going for 2 scores, even though that's probably the right side. The Jets at the Cardinals. This one confuses me. I don't see the Jets as being that good. They got talent. They got Aaron, and he's not playing terrible. But the Cardinals are pretty good. They're in the West. They're definitely in contention to win it. and get in the playoffs. So both these teams have a lot to play for. I don't think the Jets should be favored in this game. I really, really don't. I think the Cardinals are the right side in the game, 46.5 is the total. Probably get some points in this game as well. Cardinals could win this game straight up. You may not need the points. I'm not saying go out and bet it. I'm not in love with these. These are the type of teams that'll give you that one good week and then the next week's a mess. So they're not consistent. But since Saleh was fired, the Jets defense is not as good as it was because he was a great defensive coach. He may be not being a great head coach, but he's a great defensive coach. So he had a lot of input there. But be careful of this one. I would favor the Cardinals in this game, just to make long story short. The Lions at the Texans. And now this is a game, the Lions look like they're the best team in football right now. They're playing the best brand of football. The offense, defense, running game, passing game. Goff has been amazing. Other than the Ravens, I don't see anybody that looks anywhere near what the Lions look like. And the Texans, Stroud is having a regression year. Maybe it's a second-year slump, but they've had some injuries. They've lost one of the wide receivers for the season. The other one's been hurt for weeks. Not sure if he's going to play. I think he might. But the Lions are 3.5 on the road, 49.5, a non-division game. Remember, this game is probably a little bit more important to the Texans, but the Lions and their head coach, they don't quit. They just keep going. Tough game. And the Lions did pick up a replacement for their injured lineman. So the Lions are tough. 3.5, but I'm not laying that. I would like the over if I knew the wide receiver for the Texans was back and was going to play healthy. Then you go to Monday night, Miami against the LA Rams. What can I say? I like the quarterback for the Rams. I like the coach for the Rams. The wide receivers, both teams have great wide receivers. The Rams should be the favorite in this game, but there's a lot of people that have supported Miami and kept the line down. I favor the Rams in this spot. Plus, you got Miami having to travel across the country to play this game in LA. Tough spot. I favor the Rams. I don't know why there's so much support for Miami in this spot. Anyway, that's it for this week. And let's have some winners. Okay? You take care.